Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Mixer Review. This, of course, is the live version, so you will see us all in chat, or some of us in chat. Hopefully, Fresh is also here, but I hope you guys enjoy the show. Please leave your comments in the comment section of what you think about this new concept for the show. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this with us. So if you don't know, what we do here is we look at a body of work and we just talk about it, what we like, what can be changed slightly towards our liking, and what our experience was with some of these recipes. So I'll kick off. We mixed up Fresh03. Now, Fresh is pretty much, in my mind, when it comes to DIY, one of the people that you need to look out for, because of course he's been in the game for a very long time and he's got a cult following, and he's got consistency in his content that he puts out there, and he's just extremely involved. So he's also the first ELR, if I'm not mistaken, he's also the first ELR mixer that we are talking about on this show. So that's a bit of a milestone for Mixer Review. But yeah, I'll kick off. And the first one I want to talk about is strawberry banana cheesecake. Okay. And what we have here is we've got banana cream, TFA, at 2.7%, Bavarian cream, TFA 5%, cheesecake, TFA 4.7%, graham cracker V1, 2.5%, MTS Vape Wizard at 0.5%, and strawberry red touch at, is that 7.3%? Yes. And anyway, so the notes for the recipe goes, the cheesecake, Bavarian cream, and graham cracker make a splendid base for the cheesecake recipe. He's used this in key lime pie, chocolate raspberry cheesecake, blueberry cheesecake, and straight up strawberry cheesecake, and it's just plain awesome in all of them. So yeah, I'm digging this cheesecake base. Fresh goes in with cheesecake, graham cracker V1, and Bav cream. I don't see many people using graham cracker V1. I'm not 100% sure why not, because I kind of want to agree with Fresh on this one. I really like graham cracker V1. He could have done cheese what is it, cheesecake with graham crust. He could have done that, but he decided to use TFA cheesecake and then add his own graham cracker here, which I think is better, because cheesecake graham crust is not one of my favorite cheesecake. It is for other people, but just not for me. So yeah, I honestly don't know why a lot of people are using graham cracker V1, right? But it's a very awesome flavor. So I agree with Fresh's choice here. I find this cheesecake to be the kind of cheesecake where the flavor is inside the cheesecake. What I mean about that is you get a lot of cheesecake where they take the syrup or that syrupy, fruit, and they kind of layer it on the top of the cheesecake. But then you get another type of cheesecake where, the flavor is kind of inside the cheesecake. It's almost like the cheesecake is not that beigey color. It could be like a pinkish color, or like a greenish color, light green lime color for a lemon cheesecake. It's that kind of cheesecake. The strawberry and banana in this recipe is one thing, so I get banana first, and then I get a strawberry tail, like an earthy tail with it, okay? Which I was quite surprised about, because strawberry red touch is not one of my ultimate favorite strawberries, but Fresh really likes it. He uses it into the recipes that I mixed up tonight. Okay. So yeah, I was quite surprised on how it works in this recipe. It blends extremely well. And that's obviously why Fresh likes this strawberry is because of how it blends with the cheesecake, and of course with the banana. So yeah, what I get from this vape is it's a smooth, saturated vape, nice wetness to it. It it makes me think that this is a really well designed dessert recipe, because the cheesecake is well put together, and the fruits are well blended. The whole thing is actually well blended. I think the MTS, of course, plays a huge part in that. I also made this here. I made another one, and I just subbed a 1-to-1 sub with New York cheesecake, and it also worked extremely well. You can sub that out. It's not exactly the same, but it works very well. What Fresh is describing here and what I'm getting, I mean, he calls it strawberry banana, but I mean, you can almost call this a straw nana cheesecake, because those two fruits is one thing, But I mean, there's no problem with that. It's a strawberry banana cheesecake. So I can't really fault this recipe at all. I'm at about a 4 out of 5 for this recipe. Rich, what did you mix up?
Right, just choosing 3 recipes from Fresh proved to be quite daunting. I mean, he has such a massive body of work that, just narrowing it down to 3 is, kind of seems like it's, dismissing the sheer scale of the stuff that he's done. But of course, we can't mix up 7 or 8. We would be here all night. So I chose 3 varied ones. I went more towards the kind of moister end of the scale. I stayed away from the bakeries. But the first one I mixed up, I'll do them in order of complexity. I think that's probably going to be the easiest. The first one I mixed up was something that it's a profile that I don't mix that often, because I've never really found ones that I like. And that's a lemonade profile. His one that I chose is Limonada de Piña, which is a very simple recipe. It uses the classic lemonade base, which is Flavor West lemonade, the lemonade natural, at 8%. And he then complements that with Cape Golden Pineapple at 4% and FA Lime Tahiti cold pressed at 2%. That immediately struck me as interesting. One of the things that I'm not crazy about when it comes to lemonade profiles is that I can't shake the feeling that I'm vaping lemon head candies rather than a lemonade. A lot of the lemonades that I mix and try don't feel moist enough, and they've got that sort of hard candy shell coating to them, which for me kind of destroys the illusion of a lemonade. It starts becoming more of a candy. So I was quite interested to try this one up, and immediately this is working very well for me. And I think why it's working well is that the top note for me is the FA Lime Tahiti cold pressed. Now I know FA citruses do have a well-deserved reputation for fading really badly, but this one strangely hasn't. I mixed this up on the 10th of October, so we're looking at nearly 3 weeks steep now. And in this one, the lime Tahiti is front and center, so it hasn't faded away to nothing, which is great. It gives me a lime-forward lemonade where you've got 3 different levels of tart and sweet going on. The FW Lemonade Natural has its own vibe going, but there again, I'm more inclined to feel that it moves towards the lemonade candy vibe. The Cape Golden Pineapple gives for me a little bit more sweet than tart, but again, it's a slightly different, it's different sweetness and tartness from the FW Lemonade Natural. And then the lime Tahiti comes in with more tartness and less sweetness. And it just pushes it towards a beverage for me, and also not that kind of lemonade candy sweetness that Mars lemonades for me. This brings it into a nice, refreshing, wet, lime forward, tart forward type of mix. I find it very refreshing, very juicy, and with a good level of tartness for me. The sweetness is more in the background, which is what I prefer for a lemonade. It's not a typical lemonade. I'm not picking up any sort of pledge note, no sort of candy note. And that lime forward note, I'll call this more a lime lemonade, and he alludes to that in the title, Limonada di Pino. So he does credit the lime, he does credit the pineapple as being that sort of trifecta of fruit flavors that they're adding to it. And that's accurate for me. This works really well. I actually probably prefer limes to lemons, simply because I think lime is a flavor that is done better in vaping generally than lemon is. Lemon, that pledge note, that candy note are just too common for me. Lime is altogether more authentic, and it's altogether more pleasing for my palate. Mm-hmm. So as a lemonade goes, this is really great. It's juicy, it's refreshing, got that nice FA lime Tahiti, that tart kick to it, which gets the whole vape going. And then on the exhale, you do get a little bit of that more mellow, that Cat golden pineapple sweetness coming through with the FW Lemonade Natural. So it's a really pleasant blend for me. If you're struggling to find a lemonade flavor that pushes your buttons, maybe give this one a try. It's a bit different from your usual lemonade vape. And these three flavors work really well together for me. So big ups. This is a well-balanced mix.
Yeah, I have to admit, Richard, I cheated a little bit when I looked at all the recipes for Fresh03. I went onto ELR, and because there's so many, going through 8 pages of it, it was, I think there's more than 8. I think it's about 13. He's extremely active on ELR. But what I did was I just went on the rating, and, I looked at the higher rated recipes so that I can find something that other people have tested. Fresh is churning out recipes, maybe 3 recipes a week, maybe 2 recipes a week. Some of the shows, they churn out 1 recipe and they put it up for people to mix up and give comments on. So because of that, I decided to, look at some of the stuff that had some ratings on it. But the next one I wanted to talk about is strawberry milkshake. And I know everybody is sick of me talking about strawberry milkshakes, but, I think I've got a fairly good understanding of a strawberry milkshake. I vaped it for about 2 years. That was creamy vapes was my thing, and milkshakes and milks and ice creams is it was my lane, and I stayed in it for long. I referred to myself as a bit of a strawberry snob for a little while as well. I started to understand what combinations of strawberries are the best to use. But this recipe here, whipped cream TFA 1.3%, DX vanilla cupcake 4%. So that's interesting there. People use. I've seen people use yellow cake as well. Just very low percentage of yellow cake, just to help thicken up that, like a milkshake. So vanilla cupcake is almost a better choice. And then MTS Vape Wizard at 0.6%, strawberry ripe at 4%, strawberry sweet at 3%, and then sweet cream at 2.7%. Right? So, okay, I think MTS knocked off a little too much of the top notes of strawberry. Of course, MTS used to blend everything nicely together to smoothen up the mix. I know the strawberry combination extremely well, so I thought that the strawberries will pop out a little bit more. But what we also have here is we've got whipped cream at 1.3%, which is not that high for whipped cream, but you also have sweet cream at 2.7%. So that plus the MTS Vape Wizard, is pulling that strawberry, is dimming that strawberry quite a bit. So if I have to think about other strawberries, strawberry milks, strawberry milkshake recipes, I'm still of the opinion that Boog and Shizzle's One Milk to Rule Them All is my favorite, my personal favorite. Of course, if you're looking for strawberry milkshake where the strawberry is not so prominent and not that forward, this could be something that you need to look at. You might also ask me, why am I comparing this with a strawberry milk recipe? Well, if you look at the recipe, if you look at Fresh's recipe here, he doesn't have ice cream in there, right? So for me, it's more in the domain of, like a strawberry cream, like a strawberry milk. And that's why I compare it with that. So, all those three things kind of fall into one category for me. But, there's a difference between a milk and an ice cream. But yeah, I would say this is definitely more on the cream, the milk side. There's nothing wrong with this recipe. I'll easily finish this sample. But, if I have to give this a rating, this is about a 3 out of 5 for me. I enjoyed it. Thank you for putting it out here, Fresh. Rich, what did you mix up?
Okay, I also went strawberry for my next one, which was his Yonana-like straws, which is a strawberry banana yogurt. Let's just go through the recipe quickly. The banana comes purely from TFA banana cream at 4%. The strawberry, and this is quite a common combo that Fresh seems to use a lot, is TFA strawberry ripe and cap sweet strawberry, each at 2%, which is fairly light. You don't often find a strawberry combo that totals only 4%, but of course it's playing with the banana cream here, so we've got actually 8% of fruit flavors. Then he adds FA blackcurrant at 0.5%, which is another Fresh trademark. It's something that he adds quite a lot to recipes. FA Catalan cream at 0.5%. And then the yogurt cream part of it comes from TFA Greek yogurt at 5% and TFA whipped cream at 2%. Yogurt is again a profile that I have never really been that happy with the ones that I've tasted. It's difficult to get that yogurt balance right and to get that yogurt texture right. And with this one straight away, it was very promising for me because it has a really solid yogurt texture. I mean, you want yogurt to be, thicker than a milk or a cream, but it can't be stodgy. It needs to have that good yogurt-like density to it. And it also needs an appropriate moisture level. I found that yogurts can get quite dry, or on the other hand, they can get sloppy and start, going into milk or beverage territory. So it's quite a difficult balance to get right. And this one, I feel, does so. I think the FA blackcurrant helps with the general juiciness and just keeping it just moist enough that it doesn't start registering as too dry. The other aspect I like is the balance between the yogurt and the fruit. Some recipes, the yogurt is overpowering. Others, it sort of vanishes behind the fruit. With this one, I'm getting quite good separation. I'm tasting both that tangy Greek yogurt base and the fruit top note on top of it, and neither one is detracting from the other. So that's an illustration of a fine balance for me. The fruit balance per se, I find it slightly strawberry forward, but that's fine. I noticed in the comments that Fresh received on the recipe that some people were saying they wanted more banana, others were saying they wanted more strawberry. That's the type of balance that's going to be palate dependent. Some people are slightly strawberry blind, so obviously they're not going to taste the strawberry that well. I'm not strawberry blind. For me, the strawberry is fine in this. The banana cream is slightly under the strawberry, which again is fine for me. I find banana cream to be a very chameleon-like flavor, and that it has that trademark sort of semi-runce flavor to it, but it's a flavor that changes quite dramatically depending on what it's paired with. I've had very, very different results from TFA banana cream, and that comes from the complementary flavors that it's paired with. It can change dramatically from one mix to the next. In this, it works fine for me. It's registering, it's backing up the strawberry, but if I was to push it, I don't think I'd go above 4%, which is where it's at the moment. If I wanted more banana in this, what I would probably do is add a second banana, something like FA banana at a low level, 0.5%, 1%, I think would just help that banana to stand out a bit against the the strawberry. The only off note I'm getting, if you can call it that, is that I'm getting a slight spice note. Now, that might be that might just be my mind playing tricks on me. I'm immediately wary of any recipe that has Catalan cream, because that does have quite a pronounced spice note in it. So it's probably something that I'm looking for just from knowing that there's Catalan in it. And I do get it in this, and to be honest, it's a spice note I can do without. I don't think it's really helping the profile. It's detracting slightly from that creamy, smooth sweetness of the fruit sitting atop the Greek yogurt. And the yogurt itself has enough of a tangy note that I don't think it needs a spice note in there with it. In the notes below the recipe, it was suggested that people could use either Bav or Vienna to sub for the Catalan. I would probably go with Vienna, simply because I think it's going to be a better match for the TFA Greek yogurt than Bav with that, slight dark sweetening note, which probably isn't going to play that well with strawberry for me. So I would probably go with the Vienna. If I mix this again, I'd sub the Catalan with the Vienna. The other slightly strange thing is that the vape register is very warm for me. It's similar to citrus in that respect. Most citrus flavors, for me, have a warmth that transcends the actual temperature of the vape. The actual flavor itself registers as warm, which I don't know if that works that well for me in a yogurt. I prefer my yogurt to be colder, so it's something where I might think of just putting in a dab of WS23 just to counteract that perceived warmth from this mix. But generally, I'm liking the texture. I'm liking the separation between the flavors. The fact that the strawberry banana combo stands a little bit separate from the yogurt base. I'm tasting both of them, and there's a layering happening there, which is very pleasing for me. Theo, you talked earlier about his cheesecake. The flavor sort of imbuing the base. This I'm getting the opposite. There is a clear separation, which is what I like. I like that layering that's going on there. It doesn't just taste like a single coloured yogurt. That's where the flavour's totally imbued through the yogurt. So I like that. The different flavours hang together well. Without detracting from the whole. I'm still getting that very clear perception of eating a strawberry banana yogurt, but not something that has become so blended together and so sort of homogeneous that it just blends into a sort of pink mush. I am getting the different textures coming through there, which is how I prefer it. Other people might want it to be more blended, but I like the separation in that. So yeah, this is a good job. This is a yogurt that I can vape again. It's one of the first yogurts I've had where it actually registers for me as a yogurt. So for that alone, I would give this a good mark. I mean, the score is largely irrelevant, but just to say that I would recommend this for those who like yogurts but who are battling to find a yogurt mix that pleases them. Give this one a try. I think this is an accomplished mix.
So, Fresh is known for his yogurts, right? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's the yogurt guy. I'm not sure. I think so. So I'm really glad you mixed up one of his yogurts. But what I also saw a lot was blackberry and blueberry. So I think, and those are two berries that is not in my flavor stash. So like 50% of the recipes were just not possible for me. Dietz, what did you mix up?
I mixed up the yogurt berry, which is also one of his yogurts. The description says it's a strawberry yogurt, has a slightly butter note initially that should steep out after 3 days, leaving a sweet and sour rich yogurt. The percentages are 0.5% FA blackcurrant, 1% HS French vanilla ice cream, 3% FLV Greek yogurt, 3% FA juicy strawberry, and 3% FW kiwi. Now, this is one of the very few, I think I've only mixed 2 yogurts DIY. I've had a few commercials though, but let's start with the first few days. So day one, obviously, it's a lot separated. It's not blended yet. It does say it needs a 3-day steep, but can go as a shake and vape. I would say I agree, because I shake and vape everything. I can't wait for a steep. I have learned, though, with some tobaccos, has been giving me some patience to wait for steep. So the 3 days have passed. The day two, it's weird. He says here that it will leave a slight butter note initially. Now, I didn't really get the butter, but I got almost like a dry yogurt. If you would have like a powdered yogurt or a dry piece of yogurt, that's the first day a lot, second day still, third day it does actually blend in together. Now the funny thing is, I expected the FA blackcurrant to actually add to the flavor part of the yogurt, but it didn't. The FA blackcurrant to me added the tartness, not all of the tartness in the yogurt, but that dry wetness that you get from a tart type of profile. The French vanilla, at some point I thought that the French vanilla threw it a bit too much to the cream, but that was also day two. I tested every day and just check the notes. So the French vanilla bean ice cream felt more like a cream on day two, bit of day three, and for some reason, like a few hours later in day three, it was no longer a creamy note. It's more like the French vanilla builds on that mouthfeel, without really making it full, but also not a cream. It adds to the yogurt. The yogurt really features on its own here as a Greek yogurt. It does remind me of a Greek yogurt, especially on the exhale and the aftertaste in your mouth. It's like you had Greek yogurt. The juicy strawberry gave me a bit of a earthy notes, or not earthy, more like a chocolate note, but I get that from specifically juicy strawberry. It mellows out after about 3 days and becomes more of a sweet, rich, dark red strawberry. So that definitely is for me the main part of the yogurt, flavor-wise on the profile, the strawberry. The kiwi I expected a bit more. I initially thought that earthy note was from the kiwi, where it actually came from the juicy strawberry and then mellowed out. The kiwi for me is almost, I can't really get it as a flavor, but it does in my mind add a lot to the moistness of the yogurt, especially on that aftertaste where you have that sour. You mentioned here that sweet and sour rich note. Now that sour rich note definitely is on the aftertaste, and I think the kiwi and the blackcurrant and Greek yogurt has done a lot for that little bit of the aftertaste. It is a very authentic Greek yogurt for me. I enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm getting a lot more of a creamy strawberry with my RDAs on a bit of higher wattage, and on my RTAs it's a yogurt, full-on yogurt without that creaminess that I'm getting on the higher wattage. Where that yogurt reminds me of if you take yogurt and you get these what do you call them, fat-free or low-fat yogurts, or you get these lighter health-conscious fruit yogurts. This reminds me a lot of a nice, refreshing strawberry
Hippie
light yogurt.
Yeah.
What? Hippie yogurt. Yeah. All in all, it's a good yogurt. I enjoyed it. Strawberry hippie yogurt. That's it. It's for the healthy people. It's a good one. I enjoy it. That aftertaste is why I keep on having another tooth. I mean, the vape is one thing, but when you're done and you put it down and you're looking for the bowl of yogurt you just had, yeah, it's a very interesting combination that it does on that on the yogurt profile.
A civilized hipster yogurt vibe to it. You know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah, saving the best for last. Stealing that idea from Richard. But are you done, Dietz?
I am done. Yes.
I had a look through the recipes and I found this thing, which is old school, spelled OLD SKEWL, vanilla custard shake and vape. Now, initially when I saw that, I was like, how is this possible? How is this a thing? Is this an actual thing, right? So the notes go, my shake and vape custard base with a hint of cookie and spices. Okay, a nice throwback custard vape that doesn't entail a 3-month steep. So then, that's the first thing that it was like I would say, red flags going up kind of thing. And then this recipe contains anywhere a biscuit 0.75%, vanilla ice cream liquid bond at 4%, and vanilla pudding at 0.5%, right? And then I looked at anywhere a biscuit, and I know from steeping anywhere a biscuit, 2 weeks. 2 weeks for that funky sourness to disappear and it to become this beautiful buttery biscuit, right? I know that. So I had no clue, or I had no faith in this recipe. Let's talk about that. I had no faith in this recipe. But holy shit! I mean, I'm super surprised here. I think that anywhere a biscuit off notes actually help to create the illusion of a custard with the vanilla pudding and the vanilla ice cream, which is kind of revolutionary for me. It's also, this is a base, old school. This is a base. This is a custard base. So it was designed to be like 3-ingredient base that you can throw together quickly. But I mean, there was some thought put behind this, of course, because for all the people that like their custard vapes, I'm sure they run into steeping problems, where they didn't kind of think of it, they didn't mix it the right day, and now all of a sudden they don't have a custard ready to vape for maybe tomorrow or the next 3 days, right? And then this is the recipe to look for. This is the one that you can mix up. I am super impressed with this. I'm definitely going to be playing around with this. I like vanilla pudding from Flavora a lot. I rave about vanilla ice cream from Liquid Barn. And yeah, the buttery notes, what I'm getting from this is I'm getting a smooth vape, nice deep buttery notes to it. Not as saturated as some of the other mixes of his that I tried tonight, but you need to consider this is a base. So you'll probably be putting more stuff on top of it. And you need to just consider that, if you want some sweetness and some wetness to this mix, consider what you're adding in here, because you don't want to push this further into dry land, desert land, because then it's not going to be nice. But, it's a smooth vape, buttery notes, not as wet and saturated as the other mixes, like I said, but a very clever and a well-executed mix. But yeah, this is a creative little custard banger. I love this. This is for creativity, and and also just this is 3 flavors. You can't really score this low at all. This is like a 4.5 for me. Now I'm not a custard. If I have to compare this, for instance, if anywhere a custard, it is very in-your-face custard, right? This here, it's a little bit of a smoother custard note, something that you can potentially vape for a longer periods of time. So, like a shake and vape kind of all-day vape custard. So, I haven't seen this base used in many other recipes, but I don't really browse a lot of custard recipes, but people should be looking at this recipe more, for quick little custard recipes of theirs. Very cool. Enjoyed this one. Thanks, Fresh.
All right, my last one, I didn't save the best for last, but I certainly saved the most unusual for last. And that was the American Cream. Now, there are no notes on his ELR page, but I think it's fairly self-explanatory that he was going for a cream that reflects the colors of the stars and stripes. So we got the red, white, and blue, and the red comes from the same strawberry combo that he used in the strawberry banana yogurt. which is TFA strawberry ripe and cap sweet strawberry, both at 2%. The white comes from a cream base that consists of TFA vanilla bean ice cream at 3%, TFA whipped cream at 2%, TFA sweet cream at 0.5%, and then everything just thickened up and sweetened a little bit with cap vanilla cupcake at 1%. So that's the white element. The blue element comes from TFA blueberry extra and TFA blueberry wild, each at 2%. And again, just tarted and moistened up a little bit with FA blackcurrant at 0.5%, which seems to be a pretty popular fresh combo for blueberries. And there's nothing unsurprising in there, except for the fact that he has a joint top note of blueberry and strawberry, which is something I can't recall ever seeing before. I mean, people use berry blends and will go for something like FA Forest Mix or Cap Harvest Berry, where they're looking at a sort of generic berry blend. But I can't recall recipes where I've seen people create a strawberry, create a blueberry, and then mesh them together on top of a cream. My immediate impression, just from looking at the recipe, was to go with the color mix. If you take red and blue together, you get purple, right? So I was expecting that if you took a red berry and a blueberry, you would get a sort of purple berry. You would get a mix that tastes purple. And I don't know if it's just the power of suggestion, but that is exactly how it's come out for me. I wouldn't call it purple, but I would say it's a mauve or lilac type of color. It's a very mellow color, but at the same time still quite vibrant. That strawberry-blueberry combo, the strawberry gives you that sweet sort of smoothness, and the blueberry seems to add depth to it. The mix is slightly blueberry forward, which I would expect because blueberry is, in any case, a slightly more pungent flavor that registers a little bit easier than strawberry does, registers a bit more prominently. So if I had to pick out the berry, yeah, it's the blueberry that stands slightly forward. But, those five flavors, the two blueberries, the blackcurrant, the two strawberries, blend into something that is now new. It's a kind of like a light lilac colored berry, which is very intriguing. Then we get to the creams. This is a lighter cream texture, even with the TFA Vbeck at 3% in there, which is quite heavy. It's lightened up with the TFA whipped cream. The vanilla cupcake adds a bit of body, but doesn't bog it down. And then the sweet cream is not going to add much body either, just 0.5%. So it's quite a light and delicate cream. And then you get this delicate lilac mix of berries that is infused into the cream. So the whole, the whole sort of vibe of this mix is of an exquisitely balanced but very fragile texture. It's something that you're almost afraid to vape because something's going to break or something's going to go out of kilter at some point. But it does hang together very well. It's a very novel mix. You're very unlikely to have tasted a strawberry-blueberry mix before. So for that alone, I think the novelty value alone, this is worth mixing up. And it just introduced me to a new concept. I've mixed literally hundreds of strawberry mixes. I've mixed hundreds of blueberry mixes, but not one with them both together. And this does create something new, something different. As I say, it's mellow and fragile. It's not that, if you're looking for that sort of vibrant, almost candified FW blueberry vibe in this, you're not going to find this. This is an altogether, it's a more mellow type of mix. It doesn't have that punch you in the face berry prominence that you would normally expect from a berry forward mix. And I think that's what I like about it. It just gives you something quite different from what you're expecting, looking at the flavors that are used in it. So very interesting. Would it make my rotation? Probably not all the time, but certainly as something just to mix up for a change of pace from normal blueberry and strawberry type mixes. Absolutely. Novelty value, an exquisitely delicate cream, which I like as well. It's not a heavy, stodgy cream, nor is it that sort of whisper light whipped cream vibe that some people aim for. This is right in the middle. It's got its body, but it's still delicate. So very interesting mix, a very well crafted mix, and something that I can heartily recommend mixing up, for the novelty value alone. Even if it doesn't make your rotation, it's worth trying it just to see how that blueberry strawberry mix comes out. So yeah, give it a whirl. And thanks for introducing me to that, Fresh. It was a very, very novel experience.
Showing us all up talking about mauve and lilac. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm super impressed by that. Yeah, that's quite
same,
something.
I remember Wayne described Grack as being like vaping the color purple. So Fresh can one up that now. He can say, well, this is like vaping the color lilac. It sounds like you've just been to the Louvre or the Museum of Natural History or something.
Yeah, purple is so mainstream, man. Anyway, I had a look
the new purple.
Yeah, I had a look at Fresher Peas on ELR, and at the top there's quite a couple. So Fresh03 strawberry milkshake. I didn't mix up this strawberry milkshake of him. He's got dairy milk in this version. But I think it was the version that I mixed up. That this variation is the follow-up of that. Then Addie's yogurt, Blue Addie yogurt, Brutus the Barber lemon pound cake, and Yonana like straws. Those are his top-rated recipes. So go check this out on ELR and give them a smasheroo. Other than that, I just wanted to thank Fresh, of course, for us running this show, right after his show, and everybody that has joined in the chat. Thank you so much. And, Fresh for all the, commitment in the community and, the standard that he sets out there. I really appreciate that and look up to that. So thank you very much, Fresh, and keep on keeping on, man.
Thanks, Fresh.
Thank you, Fresh.
So that pretty much ends it up, unless any one of you guys want to add anything to that.
Thanks, Fresh.
Thanks, Fresh. Cheers, guys.
There's just another thing. 1,000 recipes for this guy. I'm sure there's something you would find to mix that you would like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't done DIY until you've done at least several Fresh
recipes. Yep. Gotta do it. Okay, cheers, guys. See you next week.
Cheers.
Bye.